If there is one thing that most people know about The Lion King, it is that it drew some inspiration from Hamlet, Prince of Denmark by William Shakespeare. But if one were to look for another similar Shakespearean figure to mirror Simba's destiny, then it would be none other than the son of Duncan. No, not that Duncan. Also, no. Duncan, King of Scotland. His son is Malcolm, from the classic Shakespearean tragedy named after its main character, Macbeth. Malcolm, just like Hamlet, is an heir to a throne and also loses a father, but let's get right into it by comparing both characters to Simba and where they differ or where they seem similar, if not identical. Let's start at the beginning. Where does The Lion King begin? With Simba's birth, of course. The Circle of Life opening sequence is iconic after all. Mufasa, the reigning king, is still alive at this very moment. Hamlet starts with the prince as an adult, or at the very least an older teen. Hamlet's dad is dead at the very start of the play. Where does the Scottish play about the character named Macbeth start? Well, at the end of a war, at which point Malcolm, the king's son, is already an adult. His dad, the King of Scotland, is still alive. This point goes to Malcolm for being more similar to Simba than Hamlet. Because of that, he also gets to spend some quality time with his dad on stage. The second point. What gets things going? In The Lion King, Simba's very birth moves Scar, the king's brother, down one rung on the ladder of succession, which serves as a motive for Scar's plan to kill Mufasa. In Hamlet, Claudius, the king's brother, has already fulfilled his deadly plan before the play starts, so the motivation isn't elaborated on. Malcolm is declared to be the successor of Duncan after a war has ended, and the prince has proven himself on the battlefield, much to the chagrin of Macbeth, who also fought valiantly. Granted, Macbeth also received a prophecy that he was destined to be king, so he has even more of a reason to be a bit odd about the whole thing. However, that's a point for both Claudius, for actually being the prince's uncle, and one for Macbeth, for getting snubbed at the Future King Awards in favour of the king's son. It's 2-1 for the play about Macbeth. In both plays, as well as The Lion King, the ruling king is dispatched off through cowardly measures. However, neither Claudius nor Macbeth look their victim in the eye as they kill them. As in both cases, the king is asleep. Ironically enough, the lion didn't sleep tonight as he was killed. It is now 3-2. Simba is nearby when his dad gets killed. Hamlet is in Wittenberg, a few hundred kilometers south of Denmark, when his dad kicks the bucket, and has to return first to even give his dad his last honors. Malcolm is in the very same castle that his dad gets killed in, and even gets to ask who could have done it mere minutes after the deed was done. This point goes to Malcolm, as he very much had the opportunity to see his dad's freshly killed body, just like Simba. It is 4-2 for Malcolm. Simba flees right after his dad dies, manipulated into believing he somehow killed his dad, and Scar sends some hyenas after him to try and kill him. Hamlet can't flee anywhere after his dad's death, as he has to come back from Wittenberg first. He does get sent into exile by Claudius, meaning to England, but all of that happens a whole lot of time after Hamlet's dad has died. Claudius does, however, try to ensure that Hamlet gets killed in exile, which fails. Malcolm, on the other hand, does flee, but mostly because he is smitten between the possibility of either being accused of killing his dad, or the alternative that whomever has killed his dad may come back to get him. A point for Malcolm because he gets an almost immediate panicked escape, and one for Hamlet for having a long-distance assassination scheme forced on his ass by his uncle. 5-3 for Malcolm. While in exile, Simba is visited by Nala, a friend of his who has suffered greatly under Scar's reign, and she tries to convince him to come back to no avail. Hamlet gets sent to England, yes, but no one tries to convince him of anything. He just finds a letter that makes it clear that Claudius wants him dead. While in exile, Malcolm is visited by Macduff, a character who has suffered greatly under the reign of Macbeth. Macduff succeeds in convincing Malcolm to return. A point for Malcolm, even if Macduff was a lot more persuasive than Nala, but then again, Malcolm and Macduff didn't feel the love tonight like Nala and Simba did, so it is 6-3 for Malcolm. Ghost Dad time. Mufasa appears as an apparition to Simba in the savannah sky and convinces him to return to his home and reclaim his place as king. Hamlet's dad appears to him in a vision before he gets sent into exile and explains to him not only that he should claim his title as king, but also that he was killed by Claudius, and even how, which is sort of important for a very meta play inside of a play later on. Banquo, a different character, not the prince's father, appears to Macbeth during a festive dinner and makes him look like he's mad. That point goes to Hamlet, although Mufasa really should have mentioned the whole getting killed by Scar thing. It is now 6-4 for Malcolm. Scar, thinking he has won, confesses his crime of having killed the king to Simba as they fight. Simba ends Scar's life by kicking him over a cliff into the proverbial arms of the hyenas who eat him. Simba survives. Claudius unknowingly confesses his crime near Hamlet in quiet prayer. They end up fighting at the end. Both Hamlet and Claudius succumb to wounds as well as poison. They are dead. Macbeth does not confess neither accidentally nor on purpose to Malcolm. Macduff is the one who ends up fighting Macbeth, and in the end beheads him. Malcolm is still involved in the big battle at the end, and survives. That is 2 points for Hamlet, 1 for the confession, and 1 for the fight of nephew and uncle. 1 point also goes to Malcolm, as he survives the big fight, just like Simba. It is now 7-6, with Malcolm in the lead. Last but not least, the aftermath. Simba takes his place as the new king of the Pride Lands, and under his leadership the land regains its beauty. Hamlet dies and Denmark gets taken over by the king of Norway. Yeah, that's kind of the end of Hamlet. Spoilers. Malcolm survives and is declared the new king of Scotland. He holds a glowing speech about unison. Obviously a point for Malcolm. You can't really rule as king if you're dead. The final score therefore is 8-6 for Malcolm, son of Duncan and king of Scotland. Malcolm does have a few more similarities to Simba than Hamlet, but then again, Hamlet is more well known as both the play and the name of the main character of the play. Malcolm is a relatively small role in the play that is named after and about Macbeth. But it was still fun comparing the two against one another, and specifically comparing the two to what they inspired within The Lion King and the character of Simba, king of the Pride Lands.